Let me remind you of something powerful, beautiful. You don't get what you deserve in life. You get what you ask for. Did you know that the universe, your creator, does not respond to silent dreams or quiet hopes? It responds to the clarity, boldness, and intention that you have. So, if you're not getting what you want, I actually have one question for you. And that is, have you actually asked for what you want? And that is exactly what I'm going to cover today. So let's get right into this episode. Now, I want you to understand that many women do not feel comfortable in asking for what they want. Let me know in the comments if you feel this. If you feel like you don't want to put anyone out. You don't want to seem like you're asking too much. You don't want to seem entitled. You don't want to seem like you're putting yourself out there. Let me know if you feel this in the comments. Let me know if you have that pullback, that resistance, that awkward feeling. And this could be whether you're asking God, your creator, the universe, or whether you're asking a loved one or someone that you're working with for something that you require. Let me know if you feel that. Because a lot of women actually feel this resistance. They feel this almost like, oh, I can't do that. I can't ask. I have to do it for myself. And it's a huge thing that you need to get over if you want to manifest your dreams. Let me just help you to understand that you were born with the ability to receive absolutely everything that you want, everything that you desire, and you have certain desires placed on your heart for a reason. Now, one of the most memorable quotations in Christianity from the Bible, ask and you shall receive. I'm quite sure there'll be various other faiths, religions, philosophies that echo this entirely. It is the first step is getting clear on what you want and asking. It's getting clear on what you actually want. Because if you don't know what you want, if you're not very super clear on that, it's not going to happen. And you won't even know. Nothing can become clear until you know what you want. And sometimes the hardest thing is actually confronting the fact that something that you want is something that you may have resistance towards. So if your desires feel vague, your results are going to be vague too. So stop with the, I just want to be happy energy. No, queen. No. Be specific. And one thing I'm going to touch on here. Society has us trained. You're not actually allowed to want what you really desire. Let me know if you feel that one in the comments. You have to say, I want to be comfortable. You're not allowed to say, I want to be super ridiculously wealthy. I just want to be comfortably well off. You're not allowed to say, I want to be skinny. I want to be healthy is what you're meant to say. Let me know if you feel this. Who has indoctrinated us that we're not allowed to actually strive for what we really want? Tell me. Who has given us this idea? Because I once heard, when it comes to do with wealth, this is a huge one for people. I have spoken to people, even just random people who work in stores have made comments to me, and you can see that mindset, that indoctrination, that, it's not okay. It's not okay to have money. It's not okay to want money. And this isn't specifically about money. This is just things that I'm relaying that I've picked up on when I've been speaking to people. It's just not okay. And I've genuinely heard people working in roles where I'm speaking to them, and it's like they are actually trying to justify to themselves that they don't want to receive more money in their lives. Even I watched recently a YouTube, it was a coaching session with a coach, and the person he was coaching had just launched his business and he was trying everything, and he seemed to be a really lovely coach, but he was like, his whole thing was he wanted to manifest abundance. And the coach said to him, why don't you just say you want to be rich? Why don't you just say you want to accumulate massive wealth? Why are you saying I want to be abundant? Saying even that you want to manifest abundance is just a way of sugarcoating it so it doesn't sound so harsh, maybe. So let's get clear on that. Maybe your parents, like I was brought up to be like that, more like conservative. You don't say certain things. You don't want certain things. It's not okay to do that. You have to say it in a nice, palatable way so that other people won't think a certain way of you. No, that wishy-washy stuff is going to get you totally basic, average, normal. Stop with the, I just want to be comfortable. I just want to lose a few pounds. I just want to be slim. No, go for it. Go for it. I want to manifest just a nice husband. He doesn't need to have this, doesn't need to be that, doesn't need to do this. No, go for excellence in every single sense. And excellence to you is going to look totally different to excellence in someone else's mind, but get it really clear in your mind. So if you want a 4-day work week, that's it, get that clear. If you want a 0-day work week, get that clear. If you want a 6-figure business, a 7 and 8, get that clear. If you want a stronger relationship, if you want a more toned, sculpted, insane body, it's up to you. Get clear on what you want. You don't necessarily, if you know that you're going to be hit with resistance from all angles, from people preaching to you that, you should just be normal, just be average, just accept what you're given and be grateful for it. No, you're given what you've asked for already. So if you want to be exceptional, if you want to be a light for everyone else to see, tell me right now, what is so wrong with being exceptional? What is so wrong with accumulating massive wealth? If your heart's in the right place, you are going to do good things with that. No? It's just an insane mindset. It's a mindset that we have been indoctrinated with to keep us small, to keep us from reaching higher, doing more, and from being less easily controlled and manipulated. That's what it is. So if whatever you want, get really crystal clear on it and actually own the fact that it can be yours and it should be yours and there's no other way about it. And I would also at this point get clear on the fact that you're not going to be running around sharing this with everyone else. Because when you stop telling other people what you really desire in your life, that frees up a lot more energy for you to start doing it and taking that aligned action. But not only that, most other people are not going to agree with you, and some people, many people, will want to get on their high horse and tell you all about how it's wrong for you to do that, and even potentially go and tell others all about what you want and desire. Meanwhile, all that energy is leaking from you and you're not doing anything with it. So just be quiet and get clear on what you want. Okay, so number 2, you're going to ask with confidence, not apology. We have been conditioned, I was probably the number 1 most conditioned, to tone it down. Not to want too much, to be humble, to be grateful for what we have. Let me tell you, I'm the most grateful person in the entire world for everything. For my upbringing, for everything I received. Because it's made me the person who I am today. And I see, and I'm so, so grateful. However, I was never taught to ask with confidence. And I was always taught to be humble, to play it down. And I don't know how, but I just felt I could never ask for this. It put me in some situation where I had very steep learning curves. But it's given me the mindset of how I'm going to do things differently. But you need to understand that there are infinite resources out here in the world. Look, they're printing new money every single day. Now, is it collapsing your entire economy? Yeah, but it's still happening. So if you're one of those people who actually wants to accumulate huge, massive generational wealth, then don't feel bad about it. Someone's got to take it. Someone has got to receive it. Someone's got to ask for it. You can be very grateful, but you can still strive for more because you see it as part of your journey. You feel it, right? If you feel it, you don't need to rationalize with it and justify it. It's who you're meant to be. So just go on that path. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to wait for permission, and you certainly don't need to shrink for anyone around you. That's why I have learned to become a very reserved person. I say all of this stuff here on this podcast, and I want to empower you incredible women to do the same, but I'm not going out. There are very few people that I have conversations with like this because I studied human nature and I have a very good experience. I know what human beings are like. So this content is not something that I speak about. I speak about it with maybe a couple of people who are very close to me, and obviously coaching clients. But apart from that, this isn't things that I discuss with people because I know what the human mind and human nature is like, and people just cannot help themselves. But have you ever heard that phrase, shy kids don't get sweets? You know why? Because shy kids don't get sweets. Because shy people who are afraid to ask, who feel they're not worthy, they'll never receive it. And what happens then? They end up being resentful, upset. Why is nobody giving me the good opportunities? Why are people not favouring me? Why was I not chosen? Because you didn't put yourself forward. So ask your partner, ask your clients, ask the universe. You're worthy of more. Full stop. I want you to try this out today, and I want you to let me know in the comments how you're doing it. When you're asking for something, you're very clear, you're very precise, you're very worthy, and you're just asking. I'm going to give you a small, tiny example of this. This is a small example. And you can give me an example as well. This is just a silly example. This is a very shallow example, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. It highlights it quite well in the material world. I remember when I first met my husband, and he would buy me really beautiful gifts. And I was like, oh wow, these are beautiful gifts. Wow. Like really, like really spoil me. And then as time went on, we got married, and then things would get a little bit more, let's say he was so busy that maybe his attention wasn't fully on that when it came to a birthday or an anniversary or Christmas or whatever like that. And I spent ages being upset about it. I was like, why did he? Because for me, that's my love language. When people take the time, they think really carefully about a gift, something that would really speak to you, something that would really, I don't know, that shows that they care, they've thought about this. That's just my love language. I don't care, call it whatever you like. So I was like, but you used to do all of this, but what now? Like, is it just like, oh, we're married and I don't have to bother anymore? And then it occurred to me, well, okay, I'd never asked before, but at that stage, you know what all men are like, until they capture you. I was like, have you actually asked for what you want? So next time it came around, birthday, whatever it may be, Valentine's Day, anniversaries, I just asked. And I made my expectations very clear. I think it was like one time, it was like on an anniversary or something, it got to like late at night. There was no card, there were no flowers, there were no chocolates, there were no nothing. I was like, hi. And he ran out to the shop, you know, last thing at night because he'd forgotten. But in his mind, he's so busy doing all the amazing things he does, he didn't want to, he thought that was the most important thing. Well, I had made it clear to him that actually, by showing up, by being organised, by choosing something, by writing beautiful words in a card that really mean the world to me, by taking the time to do that, you are showing me that you value me, that you care, that you've thought about this gift, that you have, it's all about the energy you have invested into it beforehand, and that thought, that energy that really speaks to me. So when I explained that, and the expectation I have that if it's an anniversary, for example, I expect, and yeah, look, I'm quite feisty. So I always say, do you realise how much this means? And I wasn't like ever berating him or being like, I can't believe you did this last year. It's like, oh, by the way, just so you know, this is what I expect to see from an amazing husband. They have this ready. They've chosen it, selected it, the most beautiful, blah, 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 explained it in detail. It has to be this, it has to be wow, blah, 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 you know. And he responds to that. Men respond to that when you're visual, when you're explaining it, when you're describing all of the things. So I made it clear. This is what I expect. This is how I'm going to feel. This is what an incredible husband does to show how he cares. When the wife every single day of the year is running around doing all these amazing things without any recognition, and it's the one time that they love to see and be spoiled. So what happened then? Oh wow. We get the beautiful, huge, incredible bouquet, the gorgeous cards, the gorgeous, specially selected everything. But did you ask before? No. So how is it ever going to happen? Look, if we're talking about men here, they do need sometimes a little bit of clarity on what you want and how you want it. This is just because they're so busy, their minds are on all these different things, and sometimes they need a reminder. And obviously they need a reminder of just how important you are. But you can translate into any area. You can translate this into your career. You can translate this into when you're speaking to your children about your expectations. You can sit them down. I've had the conversation before. Sit down and you can say, I love you so much. I can see you're very tired. But in our family, we speak to each other with respect. We're not groaning and moaning and grumbling at each other about things. We are speaking to each other with our best energy at all times. That's what I expect in this house, in this home. And that's the conversation we have. So when that happens and it slips, you can say, oh, remember we spoke about that? Now we can go back to that. But you need to ask with confidence. We don't say, oh, because this can translate into any area of your life. You can't complain about your kids' behaviour if you're not doing anything to address it. You can't complain that your husband never organises dates if you haven't asked for them. You can't complain that your employer isn't giving you a raise if you're giving them no reason to and not putting yourself out there and having these conversations. Because you are worthy of everything, but your creator wants to see that you feel you're worthy and you're taking actions in accordance. And now finally, I want you to receive like a woman who knows it's hers. So once you've asked, once you've been very clear, once you have asserted your values, your request, stop doubting it, stop obsessing over it, expect it. Take the aligned actions. Show up like it's already happening. Because see, when you operate from that energy, that confidence, that detachment, you basically collapse time. You become magnetic to everyone and everything around you because your standards are ridiculously high, and that is it. Your standards are high, your energy is high, it's an expectation, and it will come to you. The opportunities will come to you. Remember, you've got to take the aligned action. And when the things do come to you, and I should put a point 4 in here for this, because they are coming. When you're taking the aligned action, after you've asked, they will come, but they may come in opportunity form versus here it is on a silver platter. So take the opportunity, and then guess what you're going to do? You're going to be ridiculously, immensely grateful. You're going to show so much gratitude. Because you are worthy and you have been given it all. So you need to show appreciation for that. That's so important, that appreciation, that gratitude, that gets your energy high as anything. And that energy is what allows more to flow to you quicker than ever. So that was it. Decide on what you want. Ask for it clearly, boldly, audibly. That's your homework, okay? And then move like it's already yours. I want you to let me know in the comments, number one, what do you want? Let me know in the comments right now. Let me know what you want, and that's it. Okay, you don't need to hustle, to beg, to force. You just need to ask, and you shall receive. So are you ready, beautiful? Now, if you're ready to go deeper, if you're ready to stop holding back on what you really want, if you feel the blocks but you just need a bit more guidance, you need someone to help you strip that back and actually ask with confidence, then start with your personalized spark activation. It is a tool, it is a personalized video that's going to help you to uncover what's keeping you small and help you to unlock your boldest, most magnetic self. You can see all the information about the spark activation below in the description box. So I'm going to leave you here today. Don't forget to like, to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. And in Spark, don't forget, ask and you shall receive.